Hello and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has reacted very well to the upper micro support area we talked about in previous videos. Bitcoin is still, in my view, in an overall uptrend. The move down from the swing high that formed on the 21st, 22nd of May does look a little bit like a five-wave decline. So there are different options how this could play out. However, I can tell you that, because that was the concern of some members, that this does look like a five-wave decline, right? But I explained to you that we might be dealing with an overshooting B-wave there. This is a concept very much valid in Elliott Wave, very common in crypto as well. If you're wondering about those, what is a B-wave, overshooting B-wave, I made a video about B-waves on our main channel, MCO Global, a few days ago. You can check that out. Don't want to make it here a full tutorial video, but the idea is B-waves can overshoot. Technically, there's not even a limit. There's just a theoretical limit, but I have seen just some wild B-waves in the past. They're not that common. I mean, overshooting B-waves are common, but this one is pretty high. But yeah, it's best counted in my view either as B-wave because of the five-wave move down, or a top of an A wave, and then this is a five-wave move down. That's true in our white scenario. So we might be on our way into the larger support area below. These are the two scenarios we've been tracking, also on the smaller time frame that I've been tracking. But I've also told you which one I prefer at the moment, which is the direct move to the upside, okay? But we stay cautious until we really have a breakout, because this is an early stage of an upside trend reversal. However, so far it's happening pretty much where where we wanted it to occur, yeah, in this support area. And the price also reacted to our support line, which is pretty good, yeah. This our support line here, which has been on the chart for a while. So yeah, that's overall still here unchanged. Okay, so the idea is still that we are in a bullish structure and could move higher. That's, by the way, just reminds me of the concept of M2 money supply. And you might remember that months ago I shared a video on the MCO Global channel about M2 and basically used this not to predict a move to the upside, but to support my idea that the market would move up anyway. And I posted that actually a few days ago. Let me see if I can find it on X, because I showed here M2 as well. So M2 money supply continues to rise. It's quite interesting, because you see here, I mean, this is now kind of shifted because Bitcoin is lagging behind M2 a little bit. But, you know, the idea is that, yeah, you know, there was a bit of a dip here. And the latest dip, yellow, is M2 money supply. And Bitcoin's price obviously is shown here as well. And that kind of overlaps really well. So, I mean, they are correlated, yeah. Bitcoin is kind of lagging behind, but I've obviously shifted it to show the patterns together. And you can see, I mean, this still is the case. M2 is still pushing higher, and Bitcoin could still follow a bit. And funny enough, that points us directly towards that 130K target that I mentioned, yeah. So if you want to see additional insights like this, check out our X profile as well. I mean, X is the platform where if you have a question, I'm probably most likely to reply. It's basically kind of an early signal feed as well. I mean, these are typically the updates that they are published here earlier than on YouTube, and not as many as in our membership, but still you get exclusive insights here on X, and there's just closer interaction, which is, yeah, kind of slightly different from YouTube. So check it out if you're interested. The link is in the video description. So let's go back to the Bitcoin chart, and I wanted to now take a look at the shorter time frame for BTC. And yeah, I mean, here we have seen from this potential wave 2 low, yeah, we have seen a five-wave, not a five-wave advance, a three-wave advance, okay, to yesterday's swing high from Thursday's low at around $100,400. And the market rallied nicely, but it's best interpreted as a three-wave move up. So I mentioned to you yesterday in the last video that my view is we might see a wave 4 weekend. or at least a Saturday, because honestly, it doesn't need to be a massive wave 4. But what we see here is sideways consolidation so far, and we might see that one more test of upper micro support of the area between $103,268 and $104,373. Normally, the ideal target for a fourth wave is a 38.2 retracement at 103,761. Let's see if we get it. I mean, this is a pretty small time frame, so it might be, we might not necessarily see the price reach it exactly, because there are some distortions on these smaller time frames. But I think it would look best with maybe another test of support, then one more high. Either way, whether we test it again or not, we already tested it. Whether we test it again or not, one more high would be preferred to get a proper 5-wave move up from the June low. And then afterwards, the wave 2 should provide a nice setup for higher prices. Either way, if the market already now breaks below 103,268, I would assume that we're already in yellow wave 2 or white wave B, which again could lead to that wider B wave I showed you on the smaller time on the larger time frame. As long as we're holding 101,475 in this larger pullback, I still assume that Bitcoin has bottomed on Thursday. So while one more high would be ideal, if we already now break below upper support, that tells us we don't get that one more high. But because of the structure, because of the extent of the move, because of how impulsive it actually looks, I would already, I would still expect, or at least I'd still assume, that we bottomed on Thursday, right? And we just might see a little bit more of a deeper pullback there in this B wave, in this wave 2. Only below 101,475, I have to assume that a more substantial top likely formed, and the upside reversal pattern is failing, which would be a shame. Now, should we find support above 101,475 either now or after one more high, then what we will be able to do is calculate a target for wave C of B or for wave 3 for both, right? This is impossible at this point because we don't even know where it exactly will form a top. So we can calculate a support area for wave 2 or wave B more precisely once we have that one more high. Again, next resistances, I mentioned already 106K roughly and 107K, these two previous swing highs. And sort of in that area, it would be ideal to form a top in this fifth wave. So far, pretty much going according to script, but we'll see if any exciting developments show today. We certainly have some interesting setups on the altcoin charts. Tomorrow, we're going to run our member live stream again at 5 p.m. UTC. Last weekend, I shared with you a lot of setups there. I mean, these suggestions and questions came all from the community, because in the live streams, we normally cover community-related, suggested coins. So if you have any suggestions, any requests, please let us know in our member live streams. They run every Sunday at 5 p.m. UTC. Great space for coming together because the membership is not only about charts, it's also about community. It's about mindset as well. It's about spotting those trend reversals early. And it's just mainly about the community, getting early access and much more. So check it out. There's, by the way, a discount code for a 50% discount on the first month. If you are new to the membership, you can test it that way. So join us if you like to. Thanks so much. I wish you a great weekend. Thanks as always for your support. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.